Well, it basically started when the first prehistoric cavemen decided to sit on the horses' backs, because horsemanship is horsemanship. Bottom line, working with horses is horsemanship. The term, or the actual term, natural horsemanship was coined fairly recently, and it was only coined to try and differentiate between this new way of thinking. Well, I'm saying new way of thinking, it was actually going back to the old way of thinking, and to differentiate between more mainstream methods of training horses. Sorry. Stood on by a horse there. Thank you for your input there, Faith. That's appreciated. And so the bottom line is, nothing we do with horses is natural. Nothing. If it was natural, they'd be running wild and free. The minute we actually start getting involved with horses, or start interacting with them, then we're changing the dynamic. We're changing the dynamic of the animal. We're a different species that's trying to communicate with them. So horsemanship is horsemanship. Good horsemanship is good horsemanship. Bad horsemanship is bad horsemanship, and it doesn't matter what label you put it on. So you could be classing yourself as a natural horsemanship trainer and be fabulous, or appallingly bad. Same as a lot of traditional schools are fabulous or appallingly bad. So a label is just a label. The meaning behind natural horsemanship. Yeah. I think what it is people have tried, we've kind of come full circle, I think, with horses. And we're trying to get back to establishing more of a bond with the animal, a partnership, a friendship. I think we sense that we've lost something with the horses and with the interaction with the horses. Sorry, I thought somebody was breathing on me there. I didn't follow it.
It's probably just me.
Someone's breathing on my ear there.
We were done on it.
And I think we're trying to get back to that sort of feeling that we had when we first, the wonder, the amazement that we had when we first started working with horses. When we were using the horse as an animal or a means for warfare, it was on a means of transport, then it was a means to an end. And it was get the job done as quickly as possible with whatever method that you can. And only now, since the horse has not been predominantly a work animal, but has been more of a leisure animal and a sports animal, then it's now we're beginning to think, well, do you know what? Let's get back to what our early ancestors had when they were working with animals. And we do have scientific evidence that horses were being ridden with bits as long as 6,000 years ago. We have the actual evidence of bit wear on animals now. Now that's just with a bit. They may have been domesticated far earlier than that, but it's not the most logical thing to do is to stick something in the horse's mouth. So they may have been controlling or directing the horse, that's maybe a better word, in a different method. We just don't know, because soft tissue evidence hasn't survived. So this has been going on a long time, and your first, if you want to call them natural horsemanship, horsemaster would have been Xenophon, and I think every horseman in the world will tell you that. I think any good horsemanship is beneficial with the horse, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, what does the horse get out of the deal with humans? Nothing. They don't benefit in any way from this deal other than survival of the species, because out of the 5 different species of wild horse that existed when prehistoric man was around, there's only one left, and that's Equine cabalis, the one that made the alliance with humans. Zebras are a different strain of the equine line, so you can't really count them as, although I suppose you could, count zebras, I suppose. So let's say 2 alive. 2 out of 5 isn't good, no good odds. So they made that kind of agreement that to sort of work with humans really is ensured survival of the species. If we didn't have a use for the horses, we'd probably eat them. We used to, we're probably just going to, some people still do. And I think at the end of the day, good horsemanship is trying to make life as bearable for the horse as possible and give it meaning, and at least give the horse purpose, and try to keep it as close to what their species require out of life, as well as working on the demands that us humans put on them. No, that's that's an interesting question, and it comes back to, and I'm going to keep bleating on about good horsemanship is good horsemanship, whether it's got a natural or traditional label, it's irrelevant. A horse owner who understands the needs of their horse better and understands how to work with their horse better, I think that horse is going to have a healthier and happier life. A rider who understands how to sit on their horse correctly to prevent any, or limit, I'm going to say limit, because you do cause physical damage the minute you get on their backs. They're not designed to carry us about the place. That's not their purpose in the universe. So the minute we get on them, we cause physical damage. We want to limit that as much as possible to give the horse as long and as happy and a fulfilling working life as possible. So I think a rider that's educated and an owner that's educated will manage to achieve that better than someone who's not. I think you see good horsemanship every day. I think the problem is there's a lot of bad horsemanship getting labelled as good horsemanship, and that can be a little misleading for some people. You know, I think what you've got to do is go with your heart. And something my mentor Margaret says to me is any system that takes the horse out of the horse is not right. It's not for the animal. If you take away the essence of what the horse actually is, that's not horsemanship. And there are some methods of training that do that, that turn the animal into a meat machine. And if you want a meat machine, or a machine, go get a motorbike. Yeah? We work with horses because we want to interact with a different species and communicate with a different species. So, there you go. I think it's slowly and surely filtering into the mainstream. It's becoming more the norm. I think with our system, and in particular Equido, my key push or motivating factor was to educate, spread, because to change the world for horses you have to change the world for people as well. And so we've been pushing for education and making it a recognised qualification, a method of learning that can be measured and people can see their goals and their achievements being reached. So I think more education is the best way forward, and people need to have the option of finding alternative methods instead of sticking to the established rule. Well, that's how we've always done it, and that's how it's always been done, so that's how we're going to continue to do it. Please refer to the last question. I'm only kidding, sorry about it. Well, I think people need to be sensible. You need to go with what works for you. And not everything works for everyone. You know, you've got to find what sits comfortable with you. I always say to my students and my clients, watch an instructor ride their horse. If you want your horse to go like that and move that way and behave that way, and you're comfortable with how they do the training, that's the method for you to learn at that moment in time. And everybody's on a different journey, a different stage of their equine education. Everybody's going through learning experiences, and some of us are further on than others, some of us aren't as far on, and that's okay. And there's going to be something out there for that person at that time that they can understand and they're comfortable with. They might not want to get any further on than that, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Natural horsemanship.
Advantages? I thought you were meaning convicts. I have no idea about the convict situation. There may well be, I don't know. I think there's good horsemanship, whether it's natural or traditional, has as many benefits as it possibly can for the horse in their working environment and when they interact with humans, because you've got to remember, everything we do with horses is alien to their nature. Every day they have to make a conscious decision to override millions of years of evolution. I mean, around 50 million years of evolution is getting overridden just to work with us. And I think that takes a lot from the horse. I think horses deserve a lot of respect for that. Why they do it, I really don't know. It's beyond me. Well, in any training system that you use has to have an understanding of what it means to be a horse. What do horses want out of the universe? What's relevant to them? And I think by understanding that, then you can understand how to connect with that animal and encourage that animal to maybe want to work with you. I'm not comfortable with systems or any method of training that makes a horse work with them with no choice, and that's done by use of pain and control, severe bit and severe nose bands. There's a whole load of stuff going on, we don't even need to go down that road, but there are methods of making a horse. You can make a horse do just about anything with pain and with fear and with pressure. Is that horsemanship? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you should be looking for something or a way of working with that horse that is beneficial to that animal, because that will in turn be beneficial to you. I think it's all about communication. I think everything in the world is about communication, how you interact with the universe around you, how you interact with other people, and how you interact with your horse. So communication is the key to everything. And it's not just the rider. We're talking about working with the horse on the ground, learning and training yourself by doing mundane tasks such as mucking out, things like that. There's a whole load of things that you're doing in your everyday tasks, being with the horse, working with the horse, that prepares you to be a better rider.
I definitely think when you look at communication and riders in general, you have to have a communication internally with yourself, and that transfers to your horse. So what Morag's saying is, it is all about communication, it's all about educating, and we're all in a different place in our journey, and horses are fantastic at picking up on what we're thinking, what we're doing, because every time we have a thought, we have a physical reaction to that thought. It might be very minimal, but we have a physical reaction, and the horses pick up on that thought and that movement. So communication is absolutely paramount, that you're in the right place for the horse as well, and to support the horse, because we are asking the horse to do something that wasn't actually brought onto this earth to do.
Yeah. For you, loads. There's loads of things. The hardest thing is training the humans. Humans are really difficult to. Horses dead easy. Humans, nightmare, absolute nightmare. We are really bad at self-discipline. We're really bad at self-reviewing, and we don't like to look at our faults. Yeah. In order to improve, you need to recognise the areas that need improvement and be diligent in working on those areas, whether it takes you a lifetime. Most times it does take you a lifetime to achieve. There is a magic formula for working with horses and working with any living creature, and that is time, patience and perseverance. And if you apply that in every aspect of your work and be very mindful of your environment, your thought processes, how you speak, even to speak to the horse. When we work with the horses, we say please and thank you. The horse doesn't know what please and thank you means. That means nothing. They don't have that word in their vocabulary. But what it does is it changes how we feel inside, and that means a lot to the horse.